Does Mobalytics really help you with League of Legends? Welcome back, Summoners. It is time for another video asking if an app will help you with League of Legends. Before we get into this, smash the sub button and drop a like if you enjoyed this video. I want to point out that I'm using Mobalytics Plus, so some of the features might not be available to you if you're using the free version, and the reason for that is because so many of you have used my referral code. If we look at the pregame, Mobalytics has pick and ban suggestions as well as scouting reports for your team during Champion Select. This is subject to change, see my last video. You can also pick up some recommended spells, builds, and runes through the Mobalytics desktop app. There's a lot of information about team comp as well. In the pregame, there is also a tab dedicated to challenges that Mobalytics has set up. You can pick on specific things you want to focus on. Remember that because it will be important later. Mobalytics also offers game plans and how to play against specific champions. As I said in the face check video, these are nice, but don't expect a ton of help from them mid-game. I'm going to extend that to the combos offered with Mobalytics Plus. I love this feature, but the odds of you trying one out of these and it actually working are kinda slim. I think it's a great idea, but just like anything in life, it's going to take time for you to learn the combos correctly. Also, there's a little map that displays gank ability of each lane. No idea how this is calculated, but this info could be nice for deciding where to path. Someone also could be perma-shoving, so this might not make a difference. You might have an easy time ganking a hard-to-gank champion, or vice versa, depending on your lane. The pregame also has a scouting report on your opponents, so you can see exactly who to bully and who to avoid like the plague. This feature is color-coded, and you can pull it up in the game as well. Speaking of in-game features, Mobalytics has jungle overlay timers for buffs and epic jungle monsters. There are no small timers, and there are circles that go around the timers. While these are good in theory, I find it makes it hard to see what is spawned, Rift or Baron, or the type of dragon. This also could be because I normally have the overlays set at like 70% transparency. I turned it up for this video while I was recording. Say thank you in the comments, please. Mobalytics has some pretty cool overlay features at the touch of your hotkeys. I already mentioned the scouting report in-game, but you can also pull up the gold each champion has on the map, so you can use this to plan accordingly. The added benefit of this is you know who is fed and who isn't. The issue is that it takes up the right third of your screen. You can also switch to the third overlay, which will tell you your enemy's matchup. This would be really helpful if Riot brought in a new champion at the end of the season, but you know, they would never do something like that, right? Mobalytics has a ton to offer in the pregame and as overlays during the game, but in the postgame, there is just your standard stuff, right? You can see so much detail about what happened in the game, but there's nothing completely persistent on the postgame breakdown. However, Mobalytics brings something else that is interesting to the table. Remember how I mentioned those challenges? Well, they impact your GPI in some way. I'm not too clear on the details as I write the script because I'm waiting to hear back from my Mobalytics contact. Suffice to say that these challenges are benchmarks for how a player at certain ranks would do on average. These challenges are a great way to try and get you to improve. But I bet you forgot about them even though I mentioned them in the pregame. Well, I bet you'll forget about them in the game too. I certainly did. Which is perfectly understandable. Out of sight, out of mind. You've got a ton of things to think about in League of Legends. This happens to me with the matchup and gold overlays too. You may be wondering, what's a GPI and what are the points of these challenges? This is a GPI. Their purpose is to positively impact your GPI, which is a graphical comparison of the average ranks. So you can visually see what you need to improve on and what you are excelling at. Now take these metrics with a grain of salt, because influencing it with your challenges could lure you into a false sense of accomplishment. These challenges are not meant to be one and done. These challenges are meant to form habits, which Mobalytics certainly can't do for you. However, Mobalytics stands apart with this metric as you can see season-wide progress in even the last 10 or 50 games for how you are performing certain aspects of the game. I don't personally think that GPI is perfect, but it is a solid representation of how you happen to be playing. Whether that boosts your ego or crushes it, well, that depends on what it says about you. So, does Mobalytics help you? It certainly tries. Mobalytics puts a lot of power in your hands, and you can certainly see progress as you play over a long period of time. So you tell me. I'm partially biased as I use Mobalytics the most out of these apps, but as far as if it makes me better or helps me, if I used all of its aspects, yeah, I think the argument can easily be made, but I also don't get much from the challenges and only use the GPI to stroke my ego. As I mentioned before, I forget about the golds and the matchup tabs, so I'm clearly not using all that Mobalytics has to offer to my benefit. That being said, I have greatly improved this season, and I think I can attribute at least some of it to Mobalytics because I was using Mobalytics a lot. A lot of you have used my code and used Mobalytics because of me. Let me know in the comments if you think Mobalytics helps you. I have a couple more things I would like to say, but I think I should save them for another video. If you are interested in using Mobalytics, use my code in the description section below, and if you enjoyed the video, check out the series right here, and I will see you on the next one.